Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Devaparna Datta. I'm a scientific officer and I'm also an UPSC aspirant. And on this channel, I share my UPSC journey as a working professional. So if you're new to the channel, I warmly welcome you. So today we are going to address the elephant in the room, and that is ancient medieval art and culture. So now this is one subject that we all have struggled with at some point or the other, right? The major reason for that is there is no one fixed source for this subject. Like for polity, we have Lakshmikant. For modern history, we have AMAC. For geography, we have the 11th class NCRT. But for ancient medieval art and culture, nobody tells us about this one book or that we can, if we follow that, then we can get all the answers correct. So and secondly, it's a very dry and boring subject, and it also takes a toll on our memory because we have to remember so many facts and dates and everything. But the major problem is the weightage of this subject is going up, and we cannot afford to avoid it or ignore it, right? Because our competitors are studying the subject, and they are going to get the answer. They are going to get these answers right, so we cannot afford to ignore it. And so today let's just talk about how I tackled this subject and how I managed to get most of the AMAC questions right in the examination. The reason is that firstly, I carry a certain kind of confidence into the examination hall regarding AMAC, because because of the way I have strategized and planned this subject. So when I enter the examination hall, the one thing that I know is if I am not able to tackle a particular AMAC question, then at least 95% of the students will not be able to tackle it. Now, what about the remaining 5%? See, there will be students who are from history optional. There will be students who have studied history in their bachelor's, in their master's. Now, you cannot compete these people, right? If you're not from this background. Similarly, similarly, you might have a strong, you might have a very strong, you might be strong in some subject, like you might have done your bachelor's in economics, and you will definitely get one or two questions in economics right, which we will not be able to get. Or I'm a scientist, so I'm definitely going to get a few more marks than a lot of other people in the science section, right? But the other person will make up for it in his own subject. So please, this is one thing that we need to accept, that we cannot master all subjects, and we do not need to master all subjects. What we need to really do is we have to be good. We have to get good marks in the subject that we have a strong hold on, and for the other subjects we have to make sure that we get those answers correct which majority of the people will get correct. We do not need to run after those questions which only 5 to 10% of the people will get correct. There is no use, and that shouldn't be the aim. Okay, so this is one thing that we first need to accept in our heads. Then we can go into this strategy that I'm going to share with you. So let me tell you what happened with me. So when I came into the UPSC preparation, the last time I had studied history was in class 10th. So it was 2010, and I started my UPSC preparation in 2023. So 13 years later. So when I started UPSC preparation, I was a blank slate in history. I did not know anything, and whatever I had learned till class 10, I had forgotten it. But I'm sure a lot of you are in the same space. Even if you are just even if you have left history 5 or 8 years back, still I'm sure you don't remember the chronology of events or which dynasties ruled India at which point, right? This is not it is not like humanly possible to remember all that from what we have studied in school. So if you are in that position where you do not know anything about history, and people have suggested you ki go read Satish Chandra or go read R.S. Sharma, and you find these books very boring, you cannot get yourself to sit on the study table and read them, then I'll give you one solution. So there is this this teacher whose name is Sainil Nagare. I think he is also a history optional teacher. I am not sure, but I think he is a history optional teacher also, and he runs a YouTube channel. So on his YouTube channel, he has two sets of videos, one of 33 and videos, and the other is of 27 videos. And in these two sets of videos, he completely teaches the R.S. Sharma and the Satish Chandra. These are NCRTs for ancient and medieval, ancient history and medieval history. So if you have no idea at this point what happened, which dynasty came when, and you always find yourself telling to yourself that okay, we'll do ancient medieval art and culture next month, and that month never comes because the subject is so boring and you have no idea where to start. And finally you will find yourself at a point where you will think, okay, I'll just leave this subject and go for the prelims. And trust me, that will be detrimental, because the stakes are very high. The percentage of questions coming from this area is going up every year. So you cannot afford to leave it for the end, or you cannot afford to just completely leave this subject. So do one thing: go to his YouTube channel and watch the videos. Okay, watch these two sets of videos. Now, do not make notes. Okay, do not make notes. Do not try to mug up anything. Do not try to revise with him in class. Just listen to him like you're listening, like you're watching a movie, or you're listening to a story. Let somebody tell a story. Now, the good thing about Sainil Lagare sir is he tells the story. He tells history in form of a story. He'll give you so many insights. He'll tell you why a particular event happened, what impact it had on the life and the culture. So with history, the most important thing is for you to be able to connect the events and for you to find interest in these events, right? Otherwise it's very difficult to remember history, like memorize these things. So please go to his channel and watch these videos. Now, you don't need to make notes, but that does not mean you just lie down and eat popcorn while he's telling while he's taking his lectures, right? Sit up, listen to him like he's telling a story, and just try to get the chronology. What happened, when it happened, why was life at that point like that, what was the polity like, what was the economy like. Trust me, after one or two class you will start finding interest in the story. Okay, so now once you're done with that, the next step that you have to do is you then have to pick up this book called Lucent. I'm sure you have heard about it, and I'm sure you have heard people say that a lot of questions come from this book, and trust me, it does. Now, the thing with Lucent is it is a summary of R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra only. But the problem is, if you pick up Lucent at the first go, you will not be able to understand anything, because what they have done is they have simply thrown the facts into that book and compiled everything in 70 pages. Now, that is a good thing. That is like you making short notes for yourself, right? That is like you making short notes for yourself from Sainil Lagare sir's videos. So that's why I said, do not make short notes. You have those short notes made in the form of Lucent, in the form of 70 pages. So once you know the story, once you know what happened, then studying and reading Lucent will be cakewalk, because now you know what happened after that. Even in one sentence, if they have just randomly put some few facts, you will understand those facts, because now you know the chronology. Now what you do, you take the book, you take the 70 pages of Lucent and photocopy them. Okay, simply photocopy them, but do not photocopy them on one side, like leave the other side blank. So suppose this is these are the 70 pages, so just photocopy them 70 pages by leaving the other side blank. Okay, I'll tell you why you need to leave the other side blank. So now you have 70 pages and with one side blank. So now you highlight everything that you think is important in this 70 pages, and trust me, you will have to read almost every line of these 70 pages, because it is already concised into, these are two huge subjects put into 70 pages. Now you cannot afford to miss facts or lines or be lazy about it. Okay, now you already have a concise note which you need to study. And the good part is these 70 pages also have components of art and culture. So another thing, which is the most important thing, the subjects ancient medieval history and art and culture are not separate subjects. They have to be, and they must be studied together. Why? If you see the philosophical side of it, then art cannot be divorced from life, right? Everything that we do has some form of art in it, and art influences our economy, polity, everything. So whenever you're studying the economy and polity of a particular era, you also have to study the art and culture of that era together. Only that way can you remember everything properly. Only that way will it help your memory. So The 70 pages of Lucent also has components of art and culture. But do we need to stop there? No. Now what do we need to do? Now we have to pick up Nitin Singhania. So now what do we have to do with Nitin Singhania? Now Nitin Singhania is a very fat book. Do we have to read the entire thing? No, you don't have to. Please stop fearing that, okay, this is such a fat book, now I have to read the entire thing. No, you don't have to. Take Nitin Singhania, take those chapters of art and architecture, art, temple architecture, etc. Read them. And now this is the part where you have to do your hard work. You haven't read Arish Sharma, you haven't read Satish Chandra, you have directly read their summary after listening to a story. So no hard work there, right? Now you have to do your hard work. Now from Nitin Singhania, you have to, the good thing about Nitin Singhania is they after every chapter they have put the PYQs, right? So look at those PYQs and see what are the facts that are important, what is not there in Lucent. Only those, maybe 10 lines, maybe per chapter, like maybe for the modern art and architecture, per chapter there will be only 5 to 10 extra facts that will not be there in Lucent. Please add them. Where will you add them? This is exactly why I asked you to keep these pages blank. On one side you have the print, on the other side you leave blank. So where will you write about the modern art and architecture? Behind the chapter where modern dynasty is on the Lucent page, or just on the back side of it, you will write the extra 5 to 10 points. Like that, now you will have a 140 page note, like front and back 140 page note. So on the front side you have the Lucent printed, and on the back side you have those 5, 6, 7 facts which were missing in Lucent, which you have added from Nitin Singhania. Okay, now you have to do the same thing for medieval history also. Okay, from the medieval history also you have there in Lucent, like maybe from I think 56th or some 46th or 47th page. From there the medieval history starts. It's only a 70 page note. Okay, so behind that you have to also write about the ancient medieval art and architecture of the ancient and medieval period. Now, another important chapter in Nitin Singhania is the temple architecture. So about the temple architecture, Lucent does not have a lot of information, and it is a very important chapter because it is important from the point of prelims also and from the point of view of mains also. Okay, so make a comprehensive note of temple architecture. So your note should be as if like you are writing a mains answer, like what are the stages of evolution of the Nagara style, of the Dravidian style, write about the Hoysala art. Let me show you how it should look. 1 second. So yes, so your temple architecture notes should look like mains notes. Okay, there should be diagrams, there should be everything, because this is only one time effort that you'll put in. That same note you'll study for prelims, and that same note you'll study for mains. So one time effort on that temple architecture chapter. Only that chapter you will study. You will make a note as if you're making a note for mains. Rest, you just add those 5 to 6 points extra that you find, like modern art and architecture or Gupta art and architecture. Okay, now once you're done with this, you have a comprehensive 70 plus 70, that is 140 page note of ancient medieval art and architecture. But there are 3 chapters which have a lot of repeat value. Okay, they are continuously repeatedly asked. They are high value chapters, and these are Bhakti movement, Sufi movement 1, Buddhism, Jainism 1, and Vijayanagar Empire. So for them, what you will do, from Bhakti and Sufi movement and Buddhism, Jainism, there is enough information in Lucent also. But you will go a step further. You will read those chapters from Nitin Singhania. You will add whatever new information you find in Nitin Singhania on these pages. Okay, on the blank pages that you have, on the 70 blank pages that you have. That, and for Vijayanagar Empire also, you will scan Nitin Singhania for whatever extra information you get about Vijayanagar Empire, and you will add that to Lucent. Okay, so remember these 3 chapters, Buddhism, Jainism, Bhakti, Sufi, and Vijayanagar, they have a lot of value. They are repeatedly asked, so please pay extra attention to these chapters. Okay, now once you're done with that, you're actually done with ancient medieval art and architecture. And these 140 pages notes, like 70 printed and 70 are handwritten, these you have to repeatedly revise. Okay, these you have to repeatedly revise. Now one more thing is the next thing that the question comes is, there are some chapters in Nitin Singhania like music, art, architecture, right? So for that, see, I personally did not do those chapters. Okay, my reason was, firstly, I did not have enough time. But I would suggest, if you have time, do it. There were questions up to 2015, 2016. They would ask questions from there, 2 to 3 questions. Now they have reduced it. And now whenever they ask question from art forms, or they ask question from dance forms or UNESCO sites, it is usually those sites or those forms which are repeatedly there in the news, okay, which are from the news. So I now personally feel that it is better to just go through these current affair compilations and check the art and architecture, art and culture section, and check those sites or those art forms which have been repeatedly in news and make a short note of them. So I personally will do that for the next attempt also, and I've done that for this attempt also. But if you have time and you can go through those chapters in Nitin Singhania, please do that. Do not add those notes in this. Just make a 2 to 3 page extra note and just keep it separately, so that if you at the end, if you don't have so much time to revise, then you do not revise that, okay. If you keep it with this, then you will have this FOMO, and you'll have this fear, okay, now I have to do that also. Don't make this any more bulkier, okay. These 70 pages are filled with information. Upar se you are adding 70 more pages of handwritten notes, so keep this much only. This is enough for your prelims as well as your mains. Now let me tell you about mains. What are they asking in mains nowadays? They're asking about a particular period. They're asking what was the polity and the economy, right? Like early Vedic period, later Vedic period. They've asked about the Vedic period for the last 2 years, previous 2 years. So these informations are there in Lucent. Yes, they are in like they are concise and they're small, but mains is about grammar, right? If you have even a small information, you can make 2-3 lines out of these information, because there is a lot of facts thrown in this in this like Lucent. You can make use of it, and this will itself be enough for mains as well. So trust me, if you revise this 2 to 3 times, and if you make good comprehensive notes from Nitin Singhania and properly add it here and keep on revising it, it will be enough for your mains as well as your prelims. So put in your effort for one time and make it worth it, okay. And the second thing is, now you'll also say, like, for Senil Lagare sir's video, what can you do? Like can you put in some extra effort there? Can you do something extra? So as I said, just listen to his stories, okay. And what you can do is, if you really want to like not lie down and listen to him, and make sure that you make some use of those videos. Let me show you what you can do. 1 second. Just a second, guys. I'm sorry, I should have kept it. Yeah. So this is it. This is what you can do. So when he's teaching, listen to his story. Listen to what the art, architecture, the life, and the polity and the economy was. But what extra you can do is make these maps of India, okay? And for every 100 years, or 1 century, make these maps. And in these maps, suppose this much AD to this much AD, you make one map. And in that map, this BC to this BC, suppose 300 BC to 200 BC. And in that period, just draw out which dynasty was ruling which part of India, okay. Just draw like whichever dynasty was ruling which part of India. Then in the next 100 years, how did the landscape change? How did the which dynasties came, which dynasties lost their power, they went away, okay. So this will help you with the chronology, you know. And this you can do it from Lucent also, no issues. But if you really want to make full use of his videos while you're listening to so many of his videos, you can do this thing. Because you know, there are many chronology wale questions. They will ask you which dynasty came when. So, and you know, many people are able to do these questions, because even if you know 2-3, you will be able to get the answer. So if you miss out on these questions, it's risky, because many other students, at least 50-60% of the students, will be able to get these answers right. So please make sure you understand the chronology very well. That is one thing that you need to concentrate on when Senil Lagare sir is teaching, okay. So you understand ki chronology hai kya, matlab kaun aaya, kaun gaya, kab aaya, kab gaya. And once you're done with it, एक जब ऐसे मैप वाला नोट बना लिया, इसको एक बार रीचेक विथ लूसेंट में भी देख लो, हाँ इसके बाद यही आया ना, मैंने ठीक सुना, मैंने ठीक से ड्रॉ किया ना, विच विल हेल्प यू अ लॉट. तो ये क्रोनोलॉजी वाले क्वेश्चन सॉल्व हो गए. वो रिपीट वैल्यू वाले क्वेश्चंस के लिए मैंने बोल दिया कि यू गेट एक्स्ट्रा सम इन्फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम नितिन सिंघानिया. बाकी ये 70 पेजेस और अपने हैंड रिटन 70 पेजेस, दिस इज इनफ फॉर एंशिएंट मिडिवल आर्ट एंड कल्चर. नाउ आई नो दिस इज अ लॉट, दिस इज ऑल्सो अ लॉट. ऐसे सुनने में ईजी लग रहा है कि चलो 70 पेजेस. जब लूसेंट के 70 पेजेस को लेके बैठोगे ना, वो ऐसा लगता है इट्स जस्ट 70 पेजेस. It is very fact intensive, okay. It takes a lot of days. Like we always think हाँ 4 दिन में हो जाएगा 70 pages. नहीं होगा, trust me, याद नहीं रहता है. बार you have to go through that. But if you have done it 1 or 2 times ना, उसके बाद बस सुबह 1 घंटा करके देखो तो it is okay, हो जाता है, याद हो जाता है, ठीक है. And so this is what I have done for AMAC, and trust me, this works because I mostly get my AMAC wale questions at least correct, the easy ones. Now ekdam bizarre something, nobody is going to get it correct except history optional people maybe, so you don't run after that, please stop. But normal वाले जो 50 60 70 80 90% of the students को आएंगे वो आपको आने चाहिए. So please make sure you comprehensively do this thing. And now I was going to make this video after Indian Forest Service, and I'll make one video nicely with, at least I'll show you which chapters, and I'll also show you my notes, and if anybody needs these notes I can also give it to them. But मैंने अभी ये इसलिए बनाया ताकि you at least start. People often have this क्या बोलते हैं, दिस रेजिस्टेंस टू स्टार्ट विथ AMAC. सो आई जस्ट वॉन्ट यू कि अगर कुछ नहीं करना अभी, अगर आपको अभी मतलब यू आर ऑक्यूपाइड विथ अदर थिंग्स, एटलीस्ट अपने फ्री टाइम में स्टार्ट वॉचिंग सैनिन लगा रिसर्च वीडियो. एटलीस्ट समझ तो लो क्रोनोलॉजी क्या है. सडनली जाके फरवरी मार्च में बैठोगे ना, उसके बाद तो इतनी सारे देयर विल बी सो मच प्रेशर ऑफ द अदर सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ प्रीलिम्स, राइट. इकोनॉमिक्स रहेगा, पॉलिटी रहेगा, और वहां तो आप गलतियां नहीं कर सकते ना, क्योंकि वहां तो 70-80% क्वेश्चंस पीपल गेट राइट. तो तब उन सारे सब्जेक्ट्स की प्रेशर आ जाएगा, तो तब आपके पास ये अलग से वीडियो देख के फिर लूशन पढ़ने का टाइम नहीं होगा. सो नाउ एटलीस्ट कंप्लीट द वीडियोस, क्रोनोलॉजी पता कर लो, स्टोरी पता कर लो, ताकि इसके बाद सिर्फ आप लूशन से वो जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ के यू कैन जस्ट मग अप एंड यू कैन स्टार्ट गिविंग योर मॉक टेस्ट और वट एवर, है ना. सो प्लीज स्टार्ट, एंड आई होप दिस वीडियो वॉज हेल्पफुल. दिस इज एज कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव एंड एज होल दैट इट गेट्स. इससे ज्यादा तो करना भी मुश्किल है, और इससे ज्यादा करने की जरूरत भी नहीं है. आई थिंक दिस शुड बी एनफ. सो थैंक यू गाइज, टेक केयर.